MTL Sports Podcast here, episode 67. I know we've been saying jam-packed a lot, but this is really a jam-pack. This is epic episode. We got Super Wild Card Weekend recap. Plus, we're going to go over the divisional round that starts this weekend as well. Got another huge slate of games. And then we got some breaking news out of the NBA that we got to cover in rapid fire. So with all that being said, stay tuned. Super Wild Card Weekend, and before we head into the divisional round preview, so let's get this train moving. Let's start on Saturday's games. Let me get this pulled up for you guys. So this past Saturday, first slate of games, we had the Browns, Texans. Wasn't the outcome I expected, but Joe Flacco definitely. He definitely went back to Joe Flacco. What do you think? What do you make of this game, Lawrence?
I didn't watch it past after halftime, so I can't tell you what happened.
Oh, fair enough.
I was bored during the game. I had things to do, a little busy. Didn't watch this one too much. Wasn't really excited for either. I did follow your command, and I went with the Texans at the last minute. It was also one of those things. It's like I kept watching the lines of this game, and everyone just kept taking the Browns. All the money was on the Browns. So I was like, you got to fade the public in order to make money. I faded the public, and I made money. So just a reminder to everyone, fade the public, you'll make money. So if you're part of the public that was on the Browns, well, maybe you should pay attention to the lines. Texans, honestly, just good game. I'm sorry I didn't close out your amazing series.
Yeah, pretty bad performance by the Browns. Flacco throwing picks left and right. Probably made the easiest money of my life betting on Joe Flacco to throw an interception. He threw 2. One was a pick 6, right? That was probably the highlight of my experience watching this game. Moving on, second game of the day, Chiefs Dolphins. This is at night. I think the wind chill was below 0 over in Arrowhead Stadium. I think the Chiefs, they might be getting back into a groove offensively. And then you already know the defense is already pretty good, top 10 this year. What do we think about this game? What are your takeaways?
Well, that was a very questionable take by you saying that their offense has gotten back in groove.
I said it's starting to. It looks they showed signs.
I think their offense looked absolutely dog crap. It was not a good showing. They're just lucky that the Dolphins are just, just I don't even know what you call it, running on fumes, complete doo-doo, especially in the cold. Now this one, we did watch all of it, but this one was an extremely boring game, extremely pitiful. I can tell you the UFC fights that were on were more exciting than this game. And the beer pong game that we played during this game was way more exciting than this game. All right. If you were on the bandwagon who had Tyreek Hill and Pacheco touchdown, you had a fun night. If you had any other Dolphins player to have a touchdown, you had a really rough night. They didn't even go to the other side of the field.
Yep.
If you're part of the cast crew that thinks the Chiefs are getting in a rhythm, I think you should rewatch the game. There was no rhythm. I think Kelsey needs to go find another big booty girl. Because his hands he's losing his hands. I saw this meme that Kelsey went back in the day he had some big booty girls he was slapping, and now he got a little booty girl he's slapping, and his hands ain't the same ever since. So I think that person was onto something here. I will follow that because Kelsey looked horrible. I will also like to point out that the NFL does a really good job. As soon as Kelsey gets a catch, they pan over to Taylor Swift. As soon as he drops a ball, point blank range, easiest catch of his life, they don't pan over to her. I'd like a clarification from the NFL of why that is. If he's going to do bad, I want to see what her reaction is doing bad. I just want to see that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Also,
right.
Patrick Mahomes is a crybaby and gets roughing the passer calls that were completely and unbelievably not roughing the passer.
I think you can say that about him and Josh Allen. And I would say Joe Burrow from time to time. I think the top 3 or 4 guys, they just going to get the calls. You hate to see it, but that's just the NFL that we're in. Rice had a pretty good game. But the Dolphins, yeah, they're decimated. We'll see if the Chiefs can carry the momentum into the next week. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Moving on, though, Sunday's games. Remember the Bills game got moved to Monday, so on Sunday we only had 2 games. So another 4:30 start for the first game. Packers and them boys. Straight after the first, the Cowboys deferred. Green Bay got the ball first and just marched down the field, and they didn't look back. What are your takeaways after this? Let's call it how it is. It was ass beating.
There's a lot of takeaways. I've talked to a lot of people about this game. I sat here and watched the whole game inside of a B-dubs, and there was a lot of fans of the Cowboys in that B-dubs. And none of them were too pleased. I can just say that was a very fair point. But I was over there. I told everyone here to take the over. I told everyone here take Packers spread.
Yep.
After that first drive, I did sprinkle a little money on the Packers money line. As soon as I saw that first drive, I was like, I feel it. I know it's going to happen. However, I was at B-dubs with a Cowboys fan, so I was trying to be polite. I wasn't getting excited at the table. I was really relaxed. I was mellow. I was cool. I was calm. This game is it's hard to tell. Honestly, it's hard to tell you who the problem is in the game when it's pretty much everyone was the problem. It has just been released that McCarthy's not leaving as head coach. He's going to stay there one more year as head coach minimum. But I can't tell you who the problem was in this game. Yes, Dak was a problem, but is Dak the whole problem? No, Dak was not the whole problem.
No.
Pretty much the Packers scored on every single drive. I think they punted the ball twice. And I know one of the punts was at the end of the game when they were already up 48 to, I don't remember what it was, 14, 16, whatever it was. The Packers were already up so big. Who cares if they punted the ball? Who cares? They punted the ball when it didn't even matter. I think one punt came in the first half and one punt came in the second half. Otherwise, they scored on every drive. Some guy was breaking down the defense. Dan Orlowski was breaking down the defense, and he literally he showed us and made us witness the horrendous 6 DB set they ran against this team almost all game. I think they said it was like, I don't even remember what they said. I think it was like out of the 56 or something offensive plays that the Packers had, 48 of them, they had 6 DBs on the field. If Aaron Jones is cooking you like that, maybe you shouldn't be running 6 DBs. Just a forethought. Maybe they can't tackle very well. I'm not going to say you're the level of bad tackling like the Eagles, but you didn't really hit on much trying to tackle the whole game. So it was sad. I really truly wanted to scream and shout and have a great I don't want to say being arrogant, but it's fun to watch Cowboys fans squirm.
Oh, for sure, because we hear the same narrative every year. It's their year, the best team they ever had, even better than the Super Bowl teams, and all this other BS. And it's just funny to when you look back at the end of the season, you reflect, and you just realize it might not be your year ever. And when you still have Jerry Jones, the owner and operator, he runs this thing like a Chick-fil-A, bro. Everything goes through him. There ain't no decisions made without him. He's the owner and operator. He's the GM, the VP. Damn near sometimes feel like he's the coach, you know. And I think it's just hard to win when you have a guy who thinks he knows it all, when in reality he doesn't. And you already, I mean, you see that already when he's going to retain Mike McCarthy, which we were talking about this off camera. It kind of makes sense because he has to pay Dak. If he wants to keep Dak, he has to pay him, has to pay CD, has to pay Micah, has to pay a lot of guys. So it makes sense if you're trying to cut some corners, even though he's a billionaire, which doesn't make sense at all. But I think my big takeaway is, like you said, like if you're gonna run a dime package basically for most of the game, and Aaron Jones is just cooking you, and this is basically what LaFleur was banking on. It was you guys, trying to stop the pass game because you saw Jordan Love cook the Bears and all these other teams in the past couple weeks. Hey, we're gonna neutralize the passing game. Well, buddy, they still got this guy Aaron Jones. Although he only scored 2 touchdowns all year, he's still a pretty decent runner, and the offensive line isn't too terrible, so they definitely can run. And I mean, you're just gonna go small? I mean, I don't understand. And I think we said this a couple times. The Cowboys' weakness was running the ball against them, and it's especially Micah's weakness if you run straight at him, which is what the Packers did for majority of the game. Run at Micah Parsons, because although he's a great pass rusher, the guy is, I would say, he's a little undersized. You can very easily outmuscle him if you're a guard who's going to pull, and then you're going to fly his way. You can easily knock him off his feet. So. And that's exactly what they did. Marched down the field the first drive, scored a touchdown. Aaron Jones had 3 tubs, I think, at halftime. So, and you think that would maybe change your thinking, but no, they stayed in their same defensive set for the most part. And I know they're a little cooked on defense as well, but it's no excuses. Dan Quinn, they were saying this today on First Take, like the dude was probably going to be a top 3 head coach candidate between him, Belichick, and Harbaugh. But I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find someone who's going to take him now. If he leaves or the Cowboys let him go, I don't think after this performance you want a guy like that who doesn't make adjustments and doesn't think on the fly, pretty much stuck in his ways. I don't think you want that guy as your head coach, at least not this cycle. So he kind of screwed himself if he was thinking he was going to leave Dallas. He's not. And then they got some decisions to make, bro. Like, do you keep Dak? Do you move on, or do you try to trade for somebody? I know these are conversations we'll have later, but I think that's the big takeaways is you gotta, they gotta figure out what they're gonna do. Now they got McCarthy for another year. That's cool, but all these other, I guess storylines they gotta kind of close. Do they pay Dak? They definitely have to pay CD. They have to pay Mike Parsons, but. Dan Quinn, does he stay, and all this other stuff. So that's my big takeaway.
I couldn't have said it much better. I mean, there were just no adjustments made. That's the biggest thing in that game. And that's like the complete opposite between the Lions and the Rams game. Was first half, they scored like both sides. Second half, adjustments.
9 points. 9 points between the two teams in the second half.
So that just kind of goes to show, because like the first half, the over looked guaranteed. The over was at 53.5 or something like that.
Yep.
The over looked guaranteed. And then they quickly turned it around on us, and it was not guaranteed in the slightest. So I mean, that's just the biggest thing. Going from game to game was that this one actually had evolution to it. Both teams were able to evolve their defense in order to stop each other's offense. Yep. While in the first half, no one really knew what the other one was going to throw at them. I mean, I didn't necessarily think that the Lions' game plan was all that amazing. I just think that the Rams didn't ever establish the run hard enough, nor get any of their wide receivers involved other than Puka Nacua. I think that was just the problem for the Rams, whether or not they just couldn't get anyone else involved or what. But outside of Puka Nacua, no one else did anything.
Yeah.
And honestly, in the second half, I was getting worried for the Lions because they just weren't doing anything. And at some points in the game, it just felt as if that defense was just finally going to, buckle and break. They were able to hang on just a little bit longer and pull off the win. But that defense was moments away from breaking completely.
Yeah, I agree. I think the over got as high as 70, I think, going into halftime. And then that first drive, I almost took the under because I just knew then I was like, all right, the energy looks different. Like they were moving up and down the field, and then they had I think the first drive was a 3-and-out, and I was like, I don't know about this, but I held tight. But over did not hit, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest takeaway. I think you said it. The Rams just didn't get enough people involved. Knowing that Stafford got hurt again early, I think early in the first, his finger got jammed up. It was bleeding.
I thought he split it at his where the
Knuckle,
webbing
right? Yeah.
is. Yeah, he got split it up in the middle.
Yeah, it didn't look too good. I mean, gut was blushing everywhere. I think every time he went back to the sidelines, he got treatment. So you'd think they would, with that happening, they'll try to get Kyron Williams more involved. With 13 rushes, 61 yards, for 4.7 yards a carry. I mean, that's decent running. You think if you give him 20 carries, maybe he'll get you 100 yards. Take some pressure off of Stafford, kind of slow the game down. Because although a shootout would be a good game for fans, I think for the Rams, if your quarterback's injured, you probably want to limit how much he throws the ball, because I think once he got injured, he was on and off. Some throws he was making, some throws that kind of look a little So, yeah, I think the biggest thing is Puka cooked, but I think they should have had Cooper Kupp more involved, some of these other guys more involved to get them into a rhythm, because I think with Puka getting all the attention, it kind of took away from Kupp trying to get into rhythm, even though he's already getting double teams anyway. So I don't know. That's my big takeaway. And from the Lions, they did just enough to pull off a victory. I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't think I have anything bad to say about Goff. Managed the game pretty well. Montgomery ran well. Gibbs probably should give him some more touches, but otherwise he played well. I mean, those are the big takeaways from that game. It was a great game to watch. I love watching that game, even though the second half was kind of slow and boring. But I mean, sometimes you just need a good defensive matchup.
Yep. I had Gibbs anytime touchdown, so that was a fun one. But no, I was really disappointed in the way they used him in the running game. But they got him involved in the passing game, so I guess it's not completely lost. But I don't know. There was just a lot of times, especially in the second half, where they just kept using Montgomery, and there's a lack of a spark on the drives in which Montgomery never comes out because he's either blocking or he's running. So you can never try to spice it up because the other team automatically is guaranteed to know what you're going to do. You're not running the ball, and then we don't have to worry about him because he's going to become a blocker, or you run the ball at the middle or through the tackles. So I don't know. I get tired of watching Montgomery in the Lions offense, especially how electrifying it can be when Jahmyr Gibbs comes in, and how much different it looks. I still don't understand why they don't try to use both of them in at the same time. That still throws me how they don't try to incorporate that. But it is what it is. They knew what they wanted to do to win, and they did what they needed to win. I thought it was really important that they established Jameson Williams early on in the game, gave him 2 straight throws, basically the first drive. Did they throw it to him again in the game? No, but they made you think that he was going to be an important factor in the game, but he just wasn't.
Yeah, good stuff right there. Moving on to Monday, the game that was originally scheduled for Sunday, Buffalo and Pittsburgh Steelers. They got the stadium cleared out pretty well, actually, on for Monday's game. But I was hoping Pittsburgh would backdoor cover, but didn't happen. Yeah, I think Josh Allen had a good game. No complaints from me. What are your takeaways from this game?
I didn't think the Steelers played a bad game either. I didn't think Mason Rudolph played a bad game. I will say that it was unfortunate for him. Yeah, he had that one really bad interception. Sometimes those things happen, but it was the fumbles for me in like basically the first quarter that pretty much killed the Steelers. Because you didn't have both of those fumbles happen. There was actually a third one too, so they were lucky they didn't have three of them against them. But the first two fumbles they had against them, uh, it was just pretty much a gut shot. It really deflated the offense. Um, the Bills were allowed to go up 14-0, and then as soon as the Steelers countered, the Bills recountered. Also, I thought it was a little. I didn't like the Josh Allen run for 52 yards. Because when he did the fake slide, like he was about to slide and he kept running. I mean, that's just so. I mean, honestly, that's like the offensive way of playing dirty. Like, if you want to be like that, that's fine. But then if you get lit up the next time you even try to fake it out and then you complain about it, you can't. But I think there has to be a call in that, which it might get a little questionable because some guys might be like, "Oh, I was trying to make a cut move or something," but no, it clearly looked like he was slowing down on the run, like he was about to slide, and then he just picked it back up and ran harder.
Yeah.
Which is what is so disgusting. It reminded me a little of, it's what both of them are doing now. Him and Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, when he gets close to the out of bounds, he like slows up and then he cuts in an extra 2-3 yards every time, and nobody ever wants to touch him because if I barely glaze Patrick Mahomes near the sideline, I'm gonna get called for a foul, even if he is trying to cut up for 2 extra yards. Honestly, I think someone just needs to lay him out and hope for the best. Because obviously there's got to be someone who's officiating who's in the same boat as me. It says you can't keep letting him just cut up right at the last second for 2 more yards because the other team is too afraid to push him out of bounds. Like they're just too afraid to push him out of bounds. I mean, golly, there were so many passing. Not passing interference. There's so many roughing the passers I saw throughout all the games that weren't called.
Yep.
The only reason it irked me so much was the Patrick Mahomes one that was called. That pretty much took the Dolphins completely and all their momentum out of the game. Because if they hadn't had that call against them, they wouldn't have been that last touchdown. The spread would have been coverable. They wouldn't have been in field goal range. All this other stuff, but it was one of those. It was like I get tired of watching pass interference, or not pass interference. I'm sorry, watching calls go for the way of Patrick Mahomes. No one else in the league by a mile gets more than him. Jalen Hurts can get his helmet ripped off, or he can basically get tackled by his helmet. He doesn't get anything. Did I think he deserved to get anything? No. I'm tired of watching the tush push, but you're going to call it one way, you got to call it always. And that's just not what we do here in the NFL.
Yeah, we see in the NBA too. All these kind of, I get special treatment for your star players, but when it's egregious, I think that's when you gotta cut it out. Honestly, I mean, like you said, it's a little bit too much. Yeah, Mason Rudolph, a decent game. That one pick, I think on like the 3rd or 4th drive where they could have like made things interesting, get picked off in the red zone. That definitely killed the momentum because they were definitely driving on Buffalo at that point. And then I think that drive is what ultimately killed the momentum for Pittsburgh or any chance of them actually winning this game. Josh Allen managed the game pretty well, no turnovers, and then spread the wealth pretty good as far as receivers, with no what's his name, Gabriel Davis. He didn't play, so got the other guys involved: Kincaid, Diggs, Knox with the one catch and touchdown, all that good stuff. Um, but moving on, I think the last game of the weekend, probably the most interesting. Cry Eagles cry. They lost to the Buccaneers in Tampa. Did not look good for the Eagles at all. Constantly Tampa Bay was rushing Hurts, making him make quick decisions, which a lot of times meant him running for his life and throwing the ball out of bounds or in the dirt, missing guys, all that good stuff. And Devontae Smith basically carried this offense, and he's just not that type of guy. At least not right now. He's still a youngster. How do you feel about the Eagles, and are they done, or do they just need to move a piece or two around to come back stronger than ever next year? What do you think?
I just want to understand how the money works with the Eagles, because I just can't understand how they have all that talent and how they're going to be able to afford, or how they can even afford to keep all that talent. I would like to know. I just want to know. But anywho, no, I think they're gonna have to give up players, or I don't know about give up players, but they're gonna have to move on for some people. I think we saw James Bradbury's last game as an Eagle. I think some of the in-season acquisitions they made, I think we've seen the last of them as well.
Yeah.
Like Bayard's definitely not coming back. I also just have a gut feeling that something in that offense is just gonna be gone. Like we saw, Jason Kelsey retired, so he's not coming back next year.
Well, not officially. He wants everyone to know it's not official. He kind of wants to do it on his own terms.
Yeah, he's done. He's done. But what I do think is, I think that offensive line is going to need a rework if he's gone.
Yeah.
Because you could just tell at the end of the season they're just too old, and the season wore down on them, and that's the best thing I got for you. The offensive line. I'm not even just going to blame the offensive line. That whole team just wasn't it. It just wasn't it at the end of the season. They're just too old, too beat up. There is no nice way to put it. That team is just a complete red flag question mark.
Yeah, you're right. They definitely have huge question marks on that team. Definitely offensively, but defensively as well. I think you got to totally remake the DB room. I mean, they're just atrocious. From big play Slade to Bradbury. They're really missing, C.J. Gardner-Johnson from last year. Really miss him. Pass rush, I think they're fine in the trenches. It's just mainly like the secondary. Linebackers as well didn't play well all season because you could not only run the ball against them, but you can damn sure pass against them. So all around pass, the pass defense is atrocious. Then we look at the offensive side of the ball. Yeah, Jalen Hurts kind of regressed when it came to he threw more picks than he did last season. He scored more touchdowns, but I mean the tush push is pretty much unbeatable. But Tampa did beat it in this game. Shout out to Tampa. They played a really good game. Baker played a really good game. One of the few quarterbacks to win a playoff game on multiple teams. So shout out to him. Shout out to Rashad White. Played well. Mike Evans dropped a couple of touchdowns, but nothing here nor there. They still did enough to win. I think my hot take, I think A.J. Brown has to go. I think he's just too much of a hothead, bro. I think he's definitely a diva receiver, but he's just too diva-ish. I think he was
messing up their feng shui.
Yeah, I think he was doing fine when the first game of the season. Remember, he had a little altercation with Hurts, and then for 5 or 6 straight games, he had 100+ yards.
Force fed him the ball,
and then after that, teams kind of keyed on that, and then he didn't get as many touches, and then he goes back to being a diva, being mad, all this other stuff. And then this past week, how he kind of wiped his social media clean. No mention of the Eagles at all. think he wasn't even in Tampa. He was like at a boxing fight. He was like at a boxing fight or something. On Monday. He wasn't even with the team. So like, I think he has to go. I think he is probably 50% of the kind of chaos in the locker room. Because you definitely could tell it's dysfunction in there from coaching staff, players, just dysfunction. Plus, like with the coaching change in the begin, like halfway through, where Matt Patricia, didn't he like go from like something
the assistant to the main defense coordinator?
Yeah, he went to like calling plays like what, halfway through, maybe a little bit more than halfway through. It's just weird. Just like just nothing was like making sense, and Swift like just wasn't it as well. Never had an identity. Like last year, you knew they were going to ground and pound, and then occasionally run some play action and get some passes off. But this year, they were just all over the place. So that being said, Eagles, they got a lot to think about. But we got to give Tampa Bay some love. They did a pretty good job. Defensively, Todd Bowles ran a clinic against this Eagles offense. So shout out to them. Moving on, we're gonna talk about this weekend's slate of games coming up next. So we're moving on. Divisional round is this weekend. We got another slate of games. Let's hop into this first game. I think we got Texans Ravens. We're in Baltimore. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna snow Friday, so the field might be snowy. Who knows if they'll probably clear it out, but there'll be some snow around. It'll be cold. Lawrence, who do you have in this one?
I got the Ravens by a mile.
By a mile.
Yeah, man, this is Lamar's MVP. You know, his other MVP campaign run. He's got to keep it going. I know the MVP voting is regular season only, but it won't look good for him if he's not even a one and done in the playoffs. He's just completely done. He's washed up and he looks bad. He's gotta humble this young buck coming into his turf. He can't play with them. He can't play with them. Lamar's got to put the hammer down, take him behind the shed and put him down.
Oh man!
Because right now CJ Stroud is running. He's got rabies and he's running wild up in this parts. He's making a muck of the AFC, showing that the rookie head coach, just complete rookie all around team, can make noise like this. Lamar's got to shut that thing down. He got to shut down. In Lamar we trust. Lamar, you shall get it done. Don't play with your food, Lamar. Murder them quick. Make it painless.
Okay.
Lamar, I don't want to see you playing in the fourth quarter.
I don't know about that. I think the game will be close. I am taking the spread on this one. Take the Houston spread on this one. I think it'll be a closer game than people think, especially what Houston did against that Browns defense. And I know part of that is because Flacco threw some picks, so they had a little bit more extra possessions. But I think they'll keep this game close. They'll keep it interesting. Stroud he's on another level right now, and I think we covered this a few times. Baltimore's weakness is the pass game, so if they can get enough time for CJ Stroud, the offensive line, give him about 3-4 seconds, I think he can pick apart the pass defense of the Ravens and make it interesting. I'm not saying they're going to win. I got Lamar winning as well, but I think they can keep it within a score and a field goal. 9.5 points. I saw on FanDuel, it says 9 right here, but you can get 9.5 on FanDuel. I'll go with that spread. Ravens should advance. Lamar should have a good game. But if he is turnover prone, so if, he starts turning the ball over, watch out, because CJ is known to capitalize on turnovers. So that's the one thing I would caution if I'm a Ravens fan. One thing you should not want Lamar to do. Moving on, we got the Packers 49ers. The night game on Saturday on Fox. Green Bay just took apart them boys. They really did take them behind the shed and, just put them down like old Lenny. Lawrence, who do you got in this one?
Um, I got the 49ers. um, I don't think I think LaFleur and Kyle Shanahan have too much chemistry. To have LaFleur pulling the same kind of magic he did against the Cowboys. You know, they were at the Washington Redskins before they were the Commanders together. So I don't know. From what I see, I know it's going to be good. I really want it to be good. But I kind of have a gut feeling that the San Francisco 49ers money line, or not money line, the spread hits. I know it is at 9. But it that's just where my gut tells me it's going to be. But I don't feel like it's going to be like one of those blowout games. I still think the game will be close.
Yeah.
I still just think the 49ers just beat them by like 10 points, though. 10 or more. I just think it's going to be a good game. It just won't fully be a good game. Because at this point, the Packers, you got to know that their game plan is a mixture of run and play action. They don't ever throw the ball regularly. It's mostly out of play action. So if I'm the 49ers, we got to go in there and we got to beat up Aaron Jones before he beats us up. That's just simply how you have to put it. And honestly, if I had to go into the war and try to beat up Aaron Jones, I would really like to be able to do it with Fred Warner. That's a good linebacker to take into the battle with you. It's a much better linebacker than any of the Cowboys players. So
this is true.
Because I don't know if you count Parsons as a linebacker or as an edge rusher. Regardless, Aaron Jones just beat him up. Also, I'm not going to say it out loud, but you know, you got one of those brothers over there, the little white boy. I don't quite know the color of Jordan Love's skin, but I can tell you it ain't a white. So Bosa is extra high.
Extra motivated. It's extra motivated this weekend. Let's just say that.
Especially at home.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think for this one, I think the over is. I think that's a pretty. I wouldn't say safe bet, but over.
I think the over's safe.
Because Green Bay is hot. I think they will score against San Fran. My big thing is for the Green Bay spread, which I want to take to hit. Green Bay needs to get out first and score just like they did against the Cowboys. I think that's their recipe for covering the spread and or win. Is they got to get out in front. They got to score. They got to get points on the board first, whether that's if they get the ball or if San Fran defers. That first drive, they have to score. I think they have to put pressure on San Fran because San Fran is not one to be reckoned with, but also San Fran loves to front run. Playing from behind is not particularly their strong suit. They haven't done well when playing from behind, although against the Green Bay's defense, I think they could. But I don't think if you're Kyle Shanahan, I don't think you want to be playing from the position of behind because it kind of takes you out of Brock Purdy's groove of, just him just throwing balls on timing and just everything on timing. It's what Brock Purdy's all about. So, if Packers want to cover the spread, get the win. That's what they got to do. And I think San Fran, you got to neutralize Aaron Jones, like you said. They got two guys especially equipped for that. One who will definitely be highly motivated for that. But yeah, I expect a good game though. 8:00 on a Saturday. The UFC fight is also this Saturday as well. So hopefully the game gets done before that. We got a jam-packed Saturday of sports, and this is the near the finale of it. Definitely recommend watching this game. Moving on, Sunday's action. We got Buccaneers Lions. We're in Ford Field. Tampa Bay is traveling. I don't know if you saw the clip of the reporter asking Todd Bowles how is he preparing for the weather, and he was like, "Ma'am, the Lions played in a dome for like 50 years. Yeah, we'll be just fine. Maybe the 20 seconds in the cold getting off the bus will maybe that'll get to us." But I thought that was pretty funny.
I personally think she asked that to get clout.
Some people, Pat said that she might have been like just a news anchor. They just sent her because whoever the regular sports person was probably off or something. I don't know.
Either that, or she knew that she would get a lot of views from that, which could turn a lot of heads for her. I don't know truly which one it is, but there's just no way that someone would have allowed her to that there was no one that there's no way that one, she didn't have any knowledge of Ford Field. I don't think they would ever send a girl do that interview who had no knowledge of NFL basically at all. Or two, she wouldn't have asked like the cameraman or like any of the other people on staff any kind of question she should ask or how she should word it. There's just no way. That was completely I thought, a clout move.
Yeah, I can see that because like even if she's not the main person, like the main person should at least send her like some prepared questions. Yeah, like a prepared list of questions. Yeah, that seems like a clout move for sure. Who do you got in this one though?
Who I got? Oh man, it pains me to say this, but I got the Lions. As an NFC Souther, I was gonna ride with the NFC South.
Okay.
But in my personal opinion, I thought the Buccaneers played pretty good against the Eagles.
Yeah.
But I also thought the Buccaneers were very beatable against the Eagles. Then the Eagles were just too bad to even to like expose it. Yeah, I know the Buccaneers are like what? I think it's like 6-7 in the last 7 games or something like that. I don't care. I'm gonna ride the Lions' hot hand. I think it was a dangerous move. Well, it's not their fault, but I think it's dangerous of the Lions to have another home game, especially if this long of a drought, not playing in the playoffs, and you get one home win. Now you get to have another home game and try to get another home win. I think the biggest struggle in this game will be the secondary of the Lions. Can it hold up? I think that's just going to be the biggest question. Because honestly, if the Buccaneers could have done a lot more damage if they could have caught balls. They did a lot of drops. I think it was 5 drops in that game.
Mike had like at least 3 of them.
So it's not going to happen again. Mike Evans is not going to have 3 drops a game again. Does he get at least 2 or 3 of them a year? Yes, he does. He gets 2 or 3 of those games a year. I remember one of those games was against Carolina this year where he had a couple drops. I know I don't watch every Buccaneers game, but that was number 2. He had to have a third one in there at some point during the season. So this is one of those. He's locked in. Mike Evans is locked in. Also, I feel like this is a little bit of a run for Mike Evans. I think this is giving him like a little rejuvenational feel that he's probably not going to leave the Buccaneers. He's probably just going to stay. I feel like Mike Evans might be one of those lifer kind of guys. He has a Super Bowl ring. He has all the yardage. I can see Mike Evans being I can see him being a Larry Fitzgerald kind of guy. Just spent my whole time in Tampa Bay. I mean, it can't be but so bad. It's nice weather. It's never cold. He's super beloved. He makes a lot of money. He doesn't get taxed really high on his money. What more can a guy want? So honestly, I feel like this is a good run that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers needed. I think Mike Evans, if he plays another 3 years, is a guaranteed Hall of Famer, maybe even guaranteed first ballot. But at this point, if he was to retire, this offseason, he'd probably be like I don't want to say a questionable Hall of Famer, but he's definitely not a first.
Borderline. He'd be borderline case.
He'd be like a borderline or somewhere along those lines because it's hard out there. Steve Smith Sr. still hasn't gotten in the Hall of Fame. and he's top 10 receiving all time. So it's really questionable who they have going in the Hall of Fame. I'm not going to rant too much, but Reggie Wayne is going into the Hall of Fame before Steve Smith Sr. Reggie Wayne wasn't even the best player on his team. Just pointing that out there. But anywho, I got the Lions. It's dangerous to give a team like this who hasn't played the postseason in years another postseason home game. I can't see that fire burning out yet. I think they have a lot more run in them.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think for me, taking Tampa Bay spread, taking the over. But if Tampa plays defense like they did last week, that's the only thing I can see from stopping the over. But I think otherwise, over is good. For me, I'm going Detroit as well. I think even though they are kind of questionable at home, I think they'll have enough of a spark left to get this win. I think Jared Goff just needs to take care of the ball. Did a pretty good job of that last week. Hopefully he can continue that this week against Tampa Bay. Todd Bowles is, pretty good at cooking up defenses and schemes for different teams. Never the same week by week. So he definitely has something cooking up for Jared Goff, make things difficult for him. I think you're spot on. I think the Lions secondary plus their pass rush. I mean, it's basically just Hutchinson. He's going to need someone to step up and help him out. They got to get to Baker Mayfield because if you just let him sit in the pocket, he's going to pick you apart. Plus, if you don't contain him, he can run as well. So he's going to, a little bit more mobile than Matthew Stafford. So you got that to worry about as well. And when Baker gets confidence, bro, like he's another animal. He gets into that zone where it's just like, damn, like Baker's cooking. And he already beat the Eagles. He's already on a high. So you don't want him to get any higher because if he gets any more slivers of confidence, I think this game could get dangerous. So that's why I'm picking Tampa Bay spread because I think if they can keep it close and they don't really get to them, this will definitely be an interesting game for sure. Moving on, I think the last game we got Chiefs Bills rematch from a couple years ago, but we in Bills Mafia territory. We're in Buffalo. I think they're calling for more snow. I don't know if it's going to be snowing during the game, but more snow is on the way. Josh Allen is favorited. Only the second time a quarterback or another team has been favorited against Kansas City. The other time was this past Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts was the favorite in that one. I think by point and a half?
I think it was a point and a half.
Which way are you leaning? Chiefs or Josh Allen in the Bills?
I lean Josh Allen in the Bills. I think this team is on fire right now. I think they're a dangerous team to play, and I'm just not sold on Kansas City quite yet. I don't think they're playing very good, but my only concern is that Taylor Swift's in the stands, and I know she will be.
Oh, for sure.
And that automatically means the Chiefs are going to win.
So you're saying Mahomes and Kelsey are going to get some extra calls, more than even the usual extra calls.
Yeah.
Is this part of the script? Is this a scripted Chiefs win in Buffalo?
I think it is a scripted Chiefs win, mainly
because Mahomes doesn't have a road playoff win because this is his first road playoff appearance. If you don't count the Super Bowls,
I don't know if I call it because of that. I think it's just mainly because, you saw what happened earlier in the season, with the foot over the line thing and him blowing up. I think they rig it the other way this time. I think we need to do some boycotting after this game, everyone. I think there needs to be some boycotting done. Listen, honestly, if the Chiefs walk in there and they win a fair and square game, I'm cool with it. If there's even one little red flag question mark in this game, count me out. It's rigged. I'm tired of it. Scripted, trash, throw it away. Don't put this in front of my face anymore. If they walk in there and they win because Taylor Swift's singing in that stands, I'm done. I'm done. Done.
Now you already know it's not going to be fair and square. There's definitely going to be some uneven calls. To which team? We're kind of hinting one way, but honestly, I think it could go the other way. I think maybe the NFL is tired of Mahomes. They kind of give him 1 year on, 1 year off. You just won. Maybe this is a repeat pattern. Maybe this is his year off, just like 2 years ago when Joey B kicked us behind. Maybe this is time for Josh Allen to kick us behind in a playoff situation.
They ain't gonna let Josh Allen win.
Man, I hope so. We need something different, honestly. I think the biggest thing, I'm going Bills. I think the biggest thing, Josh Allen has to take care of the ball. If he gets too aggressive, if they get behind, if the Chiefs can score in Buffalo, and they get behind and Josh Allen starts to do Josh Allen things, it's not going to look too pretty. That's when they'll be in trouble. I think the game plan has to be, let's get Cook involved early, let him cook. He needs like close to 100 yards rushing. I know that's tough because they got that big man, Chris Jones. He's eating. Definitely the anchor of that defense, but they got to get Cook going. They got to get Josh Allen going in terms of running the ball. Get some design quarterback runs, get some easy yards so he doesn't have to sling it down the field. We don't need no third and 10s, third and 15s, third and 20s. Like, you're asking for trouble because he's just going to gunsling it. And half the time he's going to hit. Half the time he's going to throw a pick or fumble. So you don't want that. So if you're the Bills and Bills Mafia, that's what you got to hope for, is hope that Josh Allen can front run and watch Mahomes try to throw to his sorry receivers. Sorry, Rice, even though you're playing well, you're still kind of sorry. And Kelsey, Lawrence already alluded to it. He got a small booty chick, and his hands are just not used to grabbing the usual objects. So his hands his hands are a little suspect right now, all right? He's dropping a lot of passes, all right? The whole team is as a whole, but especially him, uncharacteristic, all right?
It's because is it a trend now? They all move into white girls, so that's all happening. I mean, I didn't say it.
Hey, it might be. Hey, that might be the new culture in the locker room. The OG's doing it, so everyone else got to follow.
Yeah, they were like, Patrick, how do you keep winning? Got me a white girl. Okay, let's all get some.
Hey, and Swift, she might got some groupie girls that hang out with her, and they just, everyone gets Taylor Swift, one of her girlfriends. Hey, you get this one. Hey, Rice, you get this one. Hey,
no, they don't need to do that to Rice. Rice, he's too young for that. He don't need one right now. He needs to have fun. Yeah, he needs to have fun.
Also, Diggs has to get involved, because if he gets into some diva antics, bro, on the sidelines, it's just going to cut off the mojo, and then this will be rigged for sure. So I got Bills. You got Bills.
Diggs has been very calm the last couple weeks. We pray that Diggs will keep his head again. That's all we need, is him to keep his head. So that's all we need. We just need him to keep his head. He's been doing it consistently the last couple weeks. Yeah, that's all we need, dude. That's all we need. Keep your head.
I think that's asking for a little bit too much from Diggs. But that's it for the preview of this weekend's games, the divisional round. A lot of good games to watch. But coming up next for Rapid Fire, we're going to talk about the breaking news in the NBA. A trade just went down. So big trade in the NBA. We talked about this last episode. The Pacers trying to go after Siakam. Well, one episode later, it happened, all right? Raptors and Pacers make a trade. Siakam and a second-round pick, I believe, go to the Pacers. And the Raptors get 3 firsts. 2 of them are 2024. And one is in 2026. And I think they get... don't they get Bruce Brown,
Norwa, Kyron Lewis?
And Lewis, yeah.
Lewis was strictly trade filler.
which is good for Pacers. Well, let's get to grades first. What are your grades on this trade?
I think that's a straight up A+ for the Pacers.
Yeah.
I think you just got yourself a second guy. I mean, he scores like, I think they said 27 points a game. Sheesh. Sign me up. That's easy. That's easy money. I take that any day. If I'm the Raptors, I guess it's a little bummed out. But the way they're beating up the Heat right now, I guess it's not that much of a big deal. I could say it would be a lot worse than it is, but they're beating the crap out of the Heat. And I do mean they're beating the crap out of the Heat without Siakam. Good, yo. So maybe they are something, but I don't know. I think it's a little disappointing if you had any kind of hopes for this Raptors this season, because they basically just punted the season away, and they're like, okay, we got a lot of young talent on this team, right? We're going to get a little younger, and we're going to try to do it the OKC way, which I think is completely fair, and I think it's probably the right thing to do with that head coach. He should be able to build the team that he wants, and I think the general manager is doing a great job of helping him build that team that he wants. But honestly, I'm a little bummed out. I can't lie. I'm a little bummed out.
So what do you think? You have an A+ to the Pacers. What do you think about the Raptors? What's their grade?
I think they just get like a B.
Hey, I'll say this. I think the Raptors, you get a B+. Bruce Brown, he has a team option for next year, so you could cut bait if you don't want to pay him, or you can just reroute him this season. Because that team option honestly is pretty attractive. Because if you want to keep him, you can, or you can just make that someone else's decision. And then the other two guys are just trade filler. But you get 3 firsts, which you asked for an OG, you didn't get. You only got a second, so now you get your 3 firsts. You're building for the future. And they're 2024 picks, so they're this season. So you get 2 extra picks for this year. It's not bad at all. And then you're starting a rebuild. The writing was on the wall after last season. You got in the play-in. You lose your play-in game. So what? The Bulls gone. Yeah. So the writing was on the wall after that happened. This team got to get broken up. Started with Fred VanVleet, which they didn't get anything for him. They just let him walk for free, which really kind of, cost them. They could have had like a pick or two from that. So, but if you're the Pacers, like you said, I give them an A. I don't know about A+. A+ would have been like if they were, I don't know, able to get like swindle another guy from the Raptors. But Siakam's good. He's good enough. Anchor the defense, because Pacers don't play defense, and now you have 2 guys to play defense, him and Turner. They should play well. They both can stretch. Miles Turner loves to shoot threes. When he's not playing Legos, he'll shoot threes and he'll block shots.
That was a cheap shot.
What? The guy loves to build Legos, bro. Look at his YouTube, I think, and he has a TikTok. Just go look. It's nice stuff.
I know he likes to build Legos, and Aaliyah got excited when she saw that he was building Legos. But damn, why'd you call him out over playing Legos?
He's a very nice guy, very nice gentleman. But now he has someone to help him out. And you keep your young guys too. Like you keep Obi, you keep Mathurin. That's what they wanted to do. You give up three firsts, but hey, you're a young team. You got your young talent. You don't need young talent anymore. You just got to build with some veterans. Pascal's the first veteran, and like we said last episode, you got to get one more guy. I think this deal basically solidifies them as a top 6 team in the East. They're going to make the playoffs, even though Halliburton is currently injured. This will be more than enough to reinforce that playoff seeding. They're going to be attractive as a trade destination and in the offseason. If they have cap space, I don't know their cap situation right now, but if they have some cap space, look out for some players to move to make their way to Indiana. And one thing they have to watch out for, though, is Siakam is a free agent in July. No Supermax because he got traded, but he's going to look for some type of near max. Not extension. I think he's just going to sign a new contract. So if you're the Pacers, you don't trade for him unless he gave hints that he would. He can't say that. He can't outright say that because, of course, CBA, all that good stuff. But I like the trade. Good trade for both sides. Didn't think it would happen this early though. Thought it would take until at least February.
I mean, like I always said, why wait, you know? Why are we waiting for it? Do you want it? Go make it happen.
Couldn't have said it any better. More teams need to take that approach instead of making us wait till February. If you want it, go get it.
Yeah, tell your Heat that. I mean, I didn't say anything. I swear.
Hey, Rozier on the Heat would look very, very nice, but I doubt it happens. That's the end of Rapid Fire. We just have that one topic to go about. Any final thoughts before we head on out?
My biggest final thought is, since I won't see you guys, we're gonna hammer that Duplessis. We're gonna fade that Sean Strickland. You know, all that money gonna be on Shawnee Boy Strickland. Especially after he just beat Izzy. You know, Sean Strickland took that cheap shot at Duplessis in the crowd. I'm telling you guys right now, Duplessis upset. He's coming for him. Mans is on a mission. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you.
You got
Duplessis.
any Australian Open things we should watch out for? Ahsoka, she got knocked out in the first round. Her first tournament back from having her baby, but I think Djokovic.
She had a baby?
She had a baby. Her and Corday. So this is the first tournament back, and then Djokovic got into it with a fan today, and the umpire was like, "Bro, you gotta calm down, leave the fan alone." That was pretty funny.
I thought Ahsoka was having mental illness problems, so she took a leave of absence. I thought that's what happened.
I think that was like 3 years ago, but she had a kid like a couple months ago.
Okay, well, either way, never thought she was that good. Honestly, I haven't been paying enough attention to the Australian Open.
I thought tennis was your thing. Tennis was your sport.
I mean, I did play, but I haven't been paying attention that much.
Yeah.
Australian Open's a little difficult one for me because I don't feel like waiting up just watch it. It does happen overnight when I'm sleeping. I do watch a little bit of the games the first thing in the morning. Oh, I did watch Mertens get her ass kicked this morning. As a former champion, that was pretty embarrassing to watch her get mollywalked like she did. No, I mean, give me until next Monday. I'll have a good layout of the field. Our boy Francis Tiafoe, absolute trash. Can't believe he did that. He lost in 3 straight sets in the second round. I've never seen him look that poor. I mean, I've seen him play Djokovic and everything, and I've still never seen him look that bad. So, I don't know what's happening with him, but he is one of the only good American players at the current moment on the men's side, besides Tommy Paul and Fritz. Can't remember his first name. Taylor Fritz, I think. I don't know. Honestly, I just hope everything's all right with Tiafoe. His ranking has slipped really bad as well. I think he's in like the 20s now. He was top 10 towards the middle of the season last year. So I don't know what all is happening with with him over there. I do wish him the best of luck on the turnaround to finish the season, I guess, because he's going to need it. It hasn't been a pretty one to start off. I wanted him to have a nice run in the Australian Open. Get us Americans hype for a tennis player.
We need it. Hasn't been a great tennis player in a while, so we need one. We need one of you guys to step up. But I had nothing else for me. You might hear from me on Saturday. Might have a Saturday special cooking up. I don't know yet. We're gonna go watch Mason this Saturday. Hopefully they beat St. Bonnie's.
I'm a little scared. I just watched St. Bonnie's absolutely annihilate a team, so I'm actually terrified. If you didn't know.
So now one of us is terrified. One of us is hopeful. We'll see how this goes. We'll report back on Monday about that game as well. But other than that, this is the MTL Sports Podcast, episode 67. Thank you for watching. We will see you next week. Peace.